So before we find out what the answer to the Stumps of Mystery is, let's try to get a sense of place here. First of all, the virtual field trip that we went on the other day took us to this location right here. So here's Astoria, and here's Astoria High School. And we're going to zoom in on this little round piece of land that's extending out from the shoreline. Now, as mentioned before, this piece of land shows up on the early maps of this area. Let's take a look at a map that does that. George Vancouver was an early explorer that poked into the lower Columbia River in 1798, and he drew this map right here. And you can see in this region right here a couple little bumps on the shoreline. Right there it says Fort George, because that's what it was called at that time. And over here where Astoria is, and Astoria High School's location is on one of these two little bumps right here. I suspect it's this first one. It's kind of hard to tell. So Vancouver showed that there was a little bump on the shoreline there. So now when we go back to the Google map, you can see that same bump on the shoreline. And we're pretty certain that it's been unmodified since that time. Now the roads come in here. There's been building rubble placed in there to support that road. Astoria High School was actually built on a wetland, but there was this tip of land that stuck out here. And where you guys got to see all those stumps is right in this region right in here. Here's the big old giant octopus, the large stump that we saw that was hollow. So if we zoom back out, you can see this is Young's Bay. And on Vancouver's map, he only shows Young's River. He didn't poke up far enough to see that there was more than one river coming in here. But this is Young's River here. It's a little bit different position than he shows on his map. What he showed was sort of a combination of Young's River with Lewis and Clark River right here, which back in those days, the natives referred to as the Netul River. So where we're going to go in a little bit here is we're going to try to solve the mystery of the stumps by looking at another site at the mouth of the Lewis and Clark River. When Lewis and Clark came past this point right here in their canoes in 1805 looking for a place to build their fort, they looked towards the east bank and they wrote down in their journals that there was a strange standing dead forest right along these banks. They noticed the trees were all dead and they were in the water partially, and they were puzzled by that. So let's take a look at that, and let's go to that video. The groves, the standing dead groves of Lewis and Clark.